Hello my lovelies and welcome to my channel Feathers from Heaven Tarot. So today I'm going to be doing a pick a card reading on your future spouse. So we are going to have a look at their personality traits and also just see if we can see anything else in terms of any quirks they may have and anything that comes up during the reading. So there are two piles for you to pick from. Pile number 1 with the commitment oracle, or pile number 2 with trust, or we do have the gemstone for you to pick from. So take a moment to see which card resonates with you the most, and I will see you in your reading. Hello my lovely pile number 1 and welcome to your reading. So let's have a look at your future spouse. Who will you marry? And have a look at their personality traits and any quirks they may have. So we're going to start with your oracle card and commitment. So basically with commitment, your future spouse is someone that is very personality wise, someone that's very committed in terms of say they have made plans to see a friend, then they will commit to that plan. They're not someone that's going to cancel at the last minute. Even if they are unwell, they will still go ahead and meet their friend because they feel like they'll be letting them down. And I feel like your future spouse has standards, okay? So they're not someone that will be flaky, cancel last minute. They like to see things through. Now this is with plans, but also it is also regarding their work. So they have a job that they are committed to, so they will spend all their time and energy to get the job done. If it requires working extra hours or putting in extra sort of research time, whatever it is that they need to do in order to get the job done, they will see it through to the end. In terms of your relationship with commitment, I do feel like obviously they are going to be very committed to you. Now I know it is a future spouse and who will you marry, which you may think, oh, it's obvious that they will be committed, but you know, unfortunately there are times where people do get married and there are issues in the relationship, which is normal for all relationships. But what I'm saying here is it's obviously not stating the obvious with commitment because they are your future spouse, but it is incorporated within their personality. So they are committed not just to you, but in everything that they do. So if they have a pet, for example, they will be a very good parent. They will make sure that their sort of pet who is part of their family will be well looked after. So if they need to be taken to the vet, if they feel like they are not looking well, they will take them to the vet. They won't just let things slide. So they'll be a committed parent if they are a pet parent, or if they are a parent, or if they're going to have children, then they will be very committed to their child. So in terms of their education, you know, spending time maybe with them if they need time spent going through their homework, then they will spend the time with them. And obviously, as I said, they'll be very committed in your relationship as well. So that is something that is kind of coming up. So if they are making plans with you, then they won't cancel, as I said, at the last minute. They will, for example, if they've said that, you know, they want to go on a holiday on somewhere a little bit adventurous, but it takes a little bit of planning but also saving up money, you know, come the year or so or 2 years later, they will book that holiday. It's not like it's empty words where they'll say, oh yeah, we need to plan for a holiday, for example, to the safari in a couple of years, and then you kind of never see anything come to fruition. So they're someone that is loyal to their words and committed to their word as well. So that is commitment. I don't know if you can see that. Just bring it closer. Perfect. All right. Let's move that over here. Okay, so let's pick some oracle cards. Not oracles, tarot. See what we get. Shall we do tarot? Let's do some. Actually, let's do some more. A couple more oracles. So we've got the Moonology oracle cards. Card number 1. The futures. Who will they marry? The future spouse. Personality type and traits. Okay, so we've got you and your loved ones are safe, the end of a tough cycle approaches, and willpower. So I feel like your future spouse has had a little bit of challenges recently that they've had to go through, and I'm saying that is quite recent actually. So they are someone that's very, first of all, they are someone that's very protective over the people that they love, so their family, friends, and they will always make sure that if there's anything that they can do to keep them safe and happy, that they will ensure that they do that. So it could be, for example, say their sibling has asked for a lift somewhere for an event and a lift back. It could be that they're a bit tired, but they will say, that's fine, I will make sure that I am there, and they will just maybe check in with them at the time, and they'll be there at that time and place to drop them and also pick them up, for example. So these are just examples of what I'm trying to say in terms of being protective. Also, there's someone that is when I say protective, also they're protective over their emotions, so they wouldn't say anything. They tend to, I don't feel like they're the type of person to lash out. So if they're in an argument, they are the type of person that would just keep quiet, maybe just kind of, I wouldn't even say voice their opinions too much. I'd just say that they do withdraw during arguments. They were not someone that will kind of scream, shout. They are someone with that cares about the other person's feelings, and they don't like drama or to make a big mountain out of a molehill. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Also, with the end of a tough cycle approaches, I did mention that your partner, your future spouse, is actually just going through something at the moment where they've had to deal with maybe some sort of difficulty. Now this, I'm not sure what it is. It could be financial difficulty, it could be a breakup, but I'm seeing that as currently they are kind of in a situations where they have a tough cycle approaching. So ending, sorry. So it could be, or it could be that maybe things at work were particularly hard. They could have had sort of very important deadlines, or it could be exams if they're studying, but it's something that they're going through. For some of you, it could be maybe a family member not being too well and them having to look after them. But that tough time for them is actually coming to an end, that sort of cycle at the moment. So the person you're going to marry is someone that is has very strong willpower. They very much have endurance, I'm getting, and willpower. So if things kind of don't go right or don't go to plan, they don't give up. They don't shut shop, pack up and off they go. No, they're in it for the long run, so they'll see it through. They understand that sometimes things, you know, there could be times where there's bumps in the road, but they're not shy of hard work. They have a lot of willpower to get the job done. and a lot of energy that they do reserve for their loved ones. Okay, so during your relationship, during your time together, I feel like they're going to be very protective over you, in the sense of caring over your emotions, how you're feeling, but also making sure you're safe. For example, if you don't drive and they do, they'll probably pick you up, drop you places, and they will very much, the type of person that is able to juggle a few things going on in their life. And I feel like there's something that they're having to do at the moment, where they're having to balance and juggle maybe work-life balance, or you know, something that's happening. So it's not just one thing, there's a few things happening in their life currently, which makes me say that during your time together, there will be someone that is going to be able to juggle. So if you do decide that you want children, then, you know, they won't have a problem with going to work, understanding what needs to be done in terms of the upkeep of a home, but also how to look after children. So I feel like they're going to be very supportive in that manner, with a child if you want one, or if you do not want any children, then they'll just be supportive in general. So maybe if you got like you're very career focused and your work is very demanding, they're going to be someone that is able to help you and understand that maybe, for example, they'll put the wash load on while you're cooking, or, you know, they'll help with the cleanup while you're working late, and then vice versa. Days that you're working, they're working late. I feel like you guys will have a good balance. They'll, you know, you'll be able to kind of help out when they're working late, which they're going to appreciate about you. I do want to check if I can see any quirks. Does your future spouse have any quirks? Okay, I wouldn't say it's a quirk as such, but they do like to travel, your future spouse. So the person you're going to marry is a traveller, and I feel like with it being coming out for the quirks, they are someone that's going to like to travel to places that is maybe quite remote, that hasn't been, that not a lot of people have traveled to. So for example, obviously the popular destinations might be, for example, Ibiza, for example, or, you know, an all-inclusive holiday to the Maldives. But they're the type of person that does not want to travel to those places. They would do their little town or their little remote islands that people haven't actually heard of much or haven't traveled to, and they're not scared of kind of venturing out. So I feel like that's their quirk. There's someone that is a bit spontaneous at times, but also just likes to do things that are not commonly done. So they like to discover new places, that's the word. So there's someone that likes to discover new things, new places, and it could be like if you guys are going out, they like to maybe not eat at in the same place. They like to maybe try out different restaurants. They're not someone that would like, you know, to do the samey all the time. So for example, if you have a favorite restaurant, they're not always going to want to go to that restaurant all the time. They like to try different things, different cuisines, and different places. Okay, so let's have a look. Tarot, let's put these away for a second, and then let's have a look at your tarot cards, what we can get. Future, who they're going to marry, their personality traits, please. Personality traits and any quirks. Personality traits. So 4, and then we get any quirks. 1 for quirks, please. 1 for quirks. Oh. We've got justice here. Okay. So we've got the Magician, Hierophant, Ten of Cups, Queen of Wands and Justice. So they're someone that is very resourceful. They like to use all their knowledge and experience to get things done. I feel like they do have a lot of experience in a certain area and knowledge in a particular area. So with travel, it could be that they are very well traveled and they might know sort of different places. Like I said, like you know, they might have traveled to different remote places that people have not heard of. But I feel like because of their knowledge, their specific knowledge, and the fact that they're very, very resourceful, they're someone that can get things done. So there's someone that people can rely on, and if they don't know the information, they will go and find out the information. Or if they don't know how to do something, like say you needed help with a particular thing, it could be anything whatsoever, and if they couldn't help you with that situation, they would go and research, or maybe find out who could help you, or a company that could help you, or maybe get in contact with one of their contacts and friends for that. So there's someone with the Hierophant that is traditional. I'm getting very traditional. Their standards are very traditional. So when I say that, it could look different for everyone depending on your culture and you maybe what what you're used to. But this person has some sort of tradition embedded within them and some sort of structure. So it could be that they're like the traditional household running, perhaps, of one maybe spouse that would just maybe bring in or focus more on the finance, and another one that would do the the kind of upbringing of a child, and maybe kind of the nurturing side. Okay, that could be one example of traditional. Another example of traditional could be that they just like structure. Okay, so it could be structure in the sense of how the day is set out, morning, afternoon and evening. So they're like someone that might like to wake up early, have breakfast, go for a run, then come home and sort of get ready for work, do the day's work, then come back and kind of settle down, but do any little bits that need to be done, preparing for the next day, or helping the children with homework, and then kind of going to sleep. So it looked different for everyone, and traditional could look different for everyone. So don't take my words literally in this situation. I'm just trying to convey what it would look like in terms of structure and their personality. There's someone that likes structure. They don't like disorder. They don't like to be spontaneous too much in the home. They do with traveling, as I said, but within the home and their day-to-day running, they like it to be structured. Okay. There's someone that is quite very, I would say, upbeat, happy. And with the Queen of Wands there, they are what people would consider attractive with the Queen of Wands. So that fire, that attractiveness, they are, easy on the eye for people. That's what people might say. So I think like they're the kind of person that will be the glass half full, not half empty type of person. With Justice, and that comes under their quirks. So do you remember I was saying they like structure? And so that could come under a quirk in the sense that they're very disciplined, where sometimes people could go with the flow. They're not really, I mean, if they had to, they would, but they'd like a person that tends to not like to do that, and not to fly by the seams of your pants kind of person. They're very right, this is what needs to be done, let's get this in order, let's get our finances in order. If we're going to go on this spectacular holiday in a year, let's start saving where we're going to stay, what we're going to do, kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I see with their quirks. Okay, my lovely pile number 1. So we're going to get a few little charms just to finish up the reading for you. So let's put them out here. Let's get a couple of charms. If you're wearing headphones, you might want to mute for this second while I pick your charms out. Okay, so we have bat, leaf, we have a unicorn, mermaids, and a dog. So what I'm getting from these is basically they are someone that has a childlike energy. When I say a childlike energy, well, you know, with the 10 of Cups that came out earlier on, they're very happy-go-lucky person. They're someone that tends to not stress or like arguments, as mentioned earlier. So if there's a disagreement, they won't really go too much into that disagreement. So you might be the person that really has to try and maybe come to a resolution, because they're just in a way kind of happy to brush it under the carpet and not talk about it, which in a way sometimes is not great because it doesn't bring a resolution, but then very anti sort of arguing sort of drama. They are, with the bat here, I'm getting they're a bit of an owl, night owl. Okay, maybe they like to do things at night, they like to travel at night, or if you go on a holiday, they like to venture out a bit at night. Maybe they might like stargazing. They might like, there's something about the evenings that they really enjoy. So they might enjoy kind of candlelit dinners and things like that. So we've got the mermaid, the unicorn, which gave me the kind of the childlike feel and energy about them. And they are a little romantic. So with the flowers and the pearl, they will, I feel, gift you, you know, randomly. We do have a dog there. They are an animal lover. They could, for some of you, actually have a pet when you meet them, or they might get one together. If they don't have one, I do feel they are an animal lover. And then with the leaf there, change of seasons. There's someone that can adapt, however, they don't like change too much. So with that structure that came up, they don't like change, but they do go with the flow in the sense of the season. And maybe if someone needs their help, as I said earlier, then they would actually make sure that they make themselves available. Perfect. All right then, my lovely pile number 1, that's what I see for you. I do hope you enjoy your reading. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, so I know you enjoyed it. Otherwise, I'm not sure if people are enjoying the reading or not. I will be back next week with another pick a card for future spouse. So keep a lookout and subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Take care, my lovely. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. So we are going to have a look at your future spouse's personality traits. So let's have a look at what comes up, but also any quirks we're going to have a look at that your lovely future spouse will have. So let's have a look at trust. So straight away with your trust oracle, I'm getting that your future spouse is someone that a lot of people trust. So they're quite trustworthy, and that's because they might have a kind of caring personality, or there's someone that has built friends over time. So there's a lot of loyalty there with your future spouse. So it could be that where they have friends that they've been friends with for a very long time, like years and years, even if your future spouse is a bit older, from even like secondary, primary school age. but I feel like they've also built that trust with their friends and family. So that could be through being someone they can rely on in times of need, and someone that they would go to for help and advice on certain aspects. But I feel like they are someone that's quite calm and collected, but they are also someone that has that's able to trust others. So they don't tend to have their guards up unless they need to, but they will always give someone the benefit of the doubt. They're not someone to shut off very quickly initially, unless there's a reason to. So with that, your future spouse is someone who needs to build a trust with someone. So they so if you know they have a friend that they start to maybe communicate with and sort of go out with, and then they kind of build that trust. So if that person lets them down, they'd maybe try to withdraw a little bit just to kind of test the waters and see kind of what happens in that sense. I feel like you two will build a lot of trust together in your relationship right from the get-go. There'll be a lot of, you'll feel quite close, and that will also develop over time. So it could be that you learn a lot about each other, you confide in each other, and you kind of feel kind of a little bit of a safe space within the relationship. Okay, let's have a look. Let's pick some oracle cards and see what else we get in terms of your person's personality traits. So a time for healing, and it's time to take action. Okay, as I was saying with the trust that needs to be earned, I feel like your future spouse is someone that will kind of withdraw if they need to. If they're not too sure about someone or a situation, they will withdraw their energy to kind of assess the situation, heal, really understand what's going on. So before they take action, so it could be before they take action in terms of cutting someone out, applying for a new job, moving house, whatever it may be, there's someone that will need to withdraw their energy, reassess, and then kind of see what they need to do. Okay, they are someone that's not quite shy of doing that, and it kind of, they feel like they trust their intuition, which is quite important. So there's someone that really listens to their gut feeling. But also if they've got close people around them, so with yourself, within your relationship, it could be that they turn to you to listen to your opinions and ideas as well, because they kind of trust and also have confidence in what you have to say. So I feel like they've had to do that quite a lot in their life. So withdraw and kind of take that moment to heal their energy and really understand before taking action. They're not shy of taking action if they need to. So it's not all just kind of withdraw and within their emotions, but they will take the relevant actions if they need to for their greater good or the greater good of a situation. Okay, let's pick a couple more oracle cards. Willpower, so that came out for pile number 1 as well. The future spouse has a lot of endurance with the willpower, and as you can see here within the image, it's balancing kind of two worlds. I feel like they have a lot of willpower and they assess the situation. So they weigh out what's the best decision that they need to take for the greater good of the situation. And good luck. So I feel like good luck, there's someone that is quite lucky and maybe divinely protected. And then let's pick one more card for their quirks. I feel like there's someone that really owns. So for their quirkiness, we've got forgive. There's someone that really owns their decision. I'm getting they own, you know, the action. That's why they need time to heal and withdraw, because when they take the action, they're going to be quite bold about that action that needs to be taken. If things don't work out for them, they don't, you know, shut everyone out and give up on their plan. They reassess and decide what is the best decision that they need to take. Generally speaking, your future spouse, they're a happy-go-lucky kind of person. They tend to have luck on their side because of someone that is not, they don't take decisions, or they don't make rash decision based on their emotions. So I would say they're quite emotionally intelligent in that sense. And move this across. Yeah, they're quite emotionally intelligent, and they are someone that will definitely cut people out if they need to. Okay, let's see what else we get. So with forgiveness, is part of their quirkiness. So it could be that they are someone that is quick to forgive, but it's not at a detriment to themselves. It's just they are someone that likes to look at the good side of a situation and give someone a chance. They are kind of, I feel, have a gentle, nurturing, kind energy in terms of their personality. But as I said, people could mistake that for, you know, they're very calm and, you know, maybe a walkover, but they really are not with the time to take action. Because if some people need to be cut out, if they need to leave a place, if they need to just make a bold decision, they are not scared of doing that. So they do have a very kind side to them, but with their quirkiness, people shouldn't take it for granted, because they are someone that could easily you know, turn in terms of what they have to give. But they are someone that, in terms of forgiveness, as their quirk, it's really like some people, they don't have that kind of compassion, and your future spouse is someone, I do feel, that is quite compassionate. Definitely. Okay, so I feel like people would also say to, they get maybe, oh, you're a very lucky person, said to them a lot. And that's kind of because of their energy, and just because they do take time in order to heal. So it could be like if they've had a breakup before they meet you, they might take the time to heal before they go into a new relationship. So they don't rely on others for their happiness. They kind of rely on themselves to balance themselves out, which shows how emotionally intelligent they are. Let's pick some tarot cards now to see what else we get. Excellent. So we've got the King of Wands, 10 of Cups, 7 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands, which is lovely. So as I said, they are someone that is emotionally intelligent and will take time to kind of not only build trust but for with others. But with the King of Wands there and with the action, I'm getting definitely that they are someone that is they're not shy to take action. They could have their own business, or they are someone that can take the lead and is very vocal when they need to be. So they are kind of a leader in that sense. They're not, you know, someone that will kind of follow the crowd. They kind of set their own rules. People might find them very attractive with the King of Wands. That's the kind of the attractive kind of Leo, fiery. It's one of the fiery tarots. They are someone that is very driven on inspiration, and also on their kind of inner fire. So with the 10 of Cups, they are very family orientated, and definitely with the good luck, they are someone generally that establishes a good, happy lifestyle for themselves, and they are able to do that through, with the 7 of Wands, sort of keeping people at bay that will not bring them any joy, happiness, and that disturbs their peace. In that sense, with the 3 of Wands, they will look to move away from the situation, replan, reroute, in terms of how they go forward with the situation or the changes in their life. So not afraid to re-navigate, reassess, and change things up. With some stars, some people, you know, if they are very used to a specific, if they're used to maybe where they live, an area, or their job, they tend to not want to make any changes or move, even if it's not bringing them joy, or if they are maybe not getting as much money as they want, or they're not getting any promotions or any raises, and they've been there like for 4 to 5 years, even 3 years. They tend to stay there only because they know and they're familiar. But with your future spouse, they're not like that at all. If changes need to be made, it will be made. And I feel like they command a lot of respect for that. And also people look to them, again, as I said, for any advice, only because they've seen it. You know, it's not like they ask for advice just like that. It's because they can see that they are a very successful person, and of the way they navigate. So even their job, they could have people that come up to them to ask kind of what to do, in the sense of that they lead in that way to make the workplace a more of a happy, easy flowing situation. But they're not harsh to give sort of feedback if someone's not pulling their weight. So I do feel like they're someone that's a bit of a leader, and if they're not now, then they will be. They will make work their way up, or maybe set up a business that will become successful. And they always look to the future with the 3 of Wands in terms of what they can plans that they can make. They actually take action on the plans and move things forward and make changes to move forward in life. Now I'm going to pick an extra tarot for their quirk. What's their quirk? Okay, Queen of Swords with the quirk under forgiveness. So that's what I said. They do give one more go. They do forgive, and people can take that for granted. That's what I mentioned earlier, and think, Pile 2's future spouse, you know, they'll just let it slide. They'll be okay. They'll forgive. Nope, they won't. Queen of Swords suddenly get cut off, which is a bit of a Pisces vibe that I get there. Like, you don't take kindness for weakness, because you will get cut out of their life. So I feel like that is very much what your future spouse is like. Pile number 2, they are very and I think that's what's coming up as a quirk, because people don't really see it coming, and they just need to know not to mess with pile number 2. That's their personality. Like, literally, I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm giving, you can trust me, I'm trustworthy, but please do not mess with me because you will never see me again. And I feel like if within work, it could be that, you know, they give someone their time, energy, but if someone kind of turns on them or becomes a little bit like sneaky, then they won't be unprofessional. They'll still remain professional, but they will have it at the back of their mind, and you'll never see that version of pile number 2 again. You'll never see the kind, calm, happy, loving person. It will just be straight to the point, like, yep, this needs to be done, I'll get it done, or can you get this done? You know, no sort of chat and banter, care that this person will show. So yeah, that's their personality. I feel like within your relationship though, I feel like you're going to feel very secure in that in your relationship, because your future spouse is not someone that's going to entertain people that are no good for you both, or that is like, you know, a bit sort of crafty and a bit like sneaky, you know, where you would see it coming. Like sometimes you have one partner that, you know, has a intuition and see it coming and will be like, that person's not really great, but your future and the future spouse doesn't really listen and be like, no, they're fine. No, your future spouse is someone that be like, okay, I've got my eye on them, don't worry. And then the moment that person kind of makes a false move, they'll be like, right, that's it, cut out, yep, or, you know, we're not dealing with you anymore. And I feel like you feel quite safe, like you can be yourself in your relationship. You can tell them how you feel maybe even about a neighborhood you've just moved to, how you feel about your home, how you feel about certain people, how you feel in a social setting. Your future spouse definitely, I will feel, the type of personality that will definitely have your back in that sense. Perfect. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's pick some charms, shall we? Pile number 2, let's have a look what else we can get. If you are wearing headphones, I suggest you just go on mute for a second, just while I pick your charms. Let's have a look. Pile number 2, turtle, rabbit, got bunny rabbit ears, unicorn, mermaids, which pile number 1 got, bird, butterfly, panther, cat on the moon, and a bee. Okay. So these are your lovely charms. Pile number 2. So with the turtle, first of all, as I said earlier, there's someone that needs to build trust with people, but also trust with them is built over time. So it's loyalty there. I get very slow, gradual rapport, building of the trust, but it's kind of results in loyalty and, you know, really deep connection. With the unicorn and the mermaid, same as pile number 2, I feel like they can have a very childlike energy where they are someone that is very sweet, kind, and very forgiving, with the forgiveness card here, oracle. But with the panther, there's someone that will pounce and cut people out in a heartbeat should they not, you know, act appropriately at any point, especially if they've forgiven them and given them an extra a chance. Now with the bunny, I feel like there's someone that's going to be very romantic. With the King of Wands, I feel like you are going to find, I mean, I know that's not personality traits, but you're going to find your partner very attractive. There's going to be a lot of chemistry in you guys' relationship, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we've got the elephant and butterfly, and we also have a bee. So with the bee, very sweet relationship, very transformative with the action. So in terms of where there's any changes that need to be made, you two will navigate around it, because your future spouse is someone that is very head screwed on type of person. They are very logical. They're not too, you know, in their emotion, even though they are very empathetic and caring as well. They're not dreamy, so to speak, throughout the relationship. They are someone that will be able to transform and within the relationship, in the sense of any changes that need to happen. And now with the swallow birds here, I do feel like there might be a bit of trouble, but I see a lot of messages within the relationship. So there's someone that's going to be a very good communicator with yourself, but also there's someone that will kind of relay messages across to different people. It could be like something to do with their work. They might have to travel. I see a lot of messaging, a lot of do you know, like a bird taking messages over to different people. So I feel like they're very someone that can communicate very well, and they will continue communication until the you know, whoever they are speaking to is able to maybe seal the deal with a business that they have, or they are you know, getting the message across in a way that's very clear and concise. Okay, elephant. Finally, on a final note, with the elephant there, they are someone that doesn't forget. They can forgive, but they'll never forget. So do you remember what I mentioned earlier about workplace, for example, where maybe, you know, they kind of trusted someone, they gave them, you know, help, support, and just was there. Maybe someone kind of maybe stabbed them in the back or was a bit naughty. They are someone that will kind of be very professional, continue working. They never forget, so you'll never get that side of them that you originally had. It's done with the Queen of Swords, cut. Okay, my lovely pile number 2, that's your future spouse's personality trait, and also a little sprinkle of their quirkiness. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, so I know you enjoyed it. Where I don't get any thumbs up with some videos, I just assume that maybe my followers or my viewers have not enjoyed the video, so I might end up changing things a bit. But if you give it a thumbs up, I know then that you do like it, and I continue with the same with future spouse content. Otherwise, feel free to drop me a message whether you liked it or you didn't like it, what you didn't like about it, if you did, what you did like, because then that enables me to create more content and to adapt it to your likes and dislikes. So please, if you get a second, take a moment to let me know. I would really appreciate it, only if you would like to come back and see more. Okay, take care, my lovely pile number 2, and I'll see you soon. Bye.